Today is January 2nd, 2026. It is 6:48 a.m. I just did a short video, but each time I hop on X, there's always some stuff for me to share with you. So instead of me reading them on my own, I decided to record it and share them with you. Whenever I get a chance to edit them, I'll share them with you. All right, so let's go on X. I don't know if I'll get a chance to edit them this weekend because we plan on doing some stuff with the kids. All right, so this is the first tweet. All right. It's 2026. We know the game by heart now. The British press tells you Kate is popular and hopes you believe it and tune in. They tell you Meghan isn't popular and hopes you believe it and tune out. But at the end of the day, numbers don't lie. The British public loves Meghan. Okay. I think there's one video I was just editing and I listened to myself saying the problem that the UK had is at the beginning. Okay, when the media started to say negative thing about Meghan, the majority of people, probably all of them, stay quiet. It was the Sussex squad from around the world who've been following Meghan on different medias, whether it's from Suit or on TIG or whatever it may be, who were doing the pushback. Wasn't there a charity that either Harry or Meghan donate to? They got the money, but despite all the negativity that was being said about them, they kept their mouth shut. It was afterward they were saying that I think it was Meghan who donated to them, and that's when they said they received money from Meghan. They were afraid they were gonna get backlash and all of that. So it takes courage, like Harry have said in one of his speech. It takes courage, it takes strength to do certain things that they do.
Because to be role models, or the role models that each of you are, takes strength and it takes courage.
But it's very sad, while Harry was fighting for them, Meghan too, the lawsuit Meghan brought against the paper, it was for all of the UK as well as much it was for her, because if she had lost that lawsuit, it will probably set precedent for the media to go into their private letters and stuff like that. Okay, so it's very sad that at the beginning, a good portion of Brits stay quiet. They didn't back them up. Okay, but later on, that changed. Based on what I've seen, that have changed, and more people are talking or defending, even on when they call like Jeremy Vine, some of the clips that the squad from the UK share that I've seen on, and I've shared with you, that a lot of Brits are speaking against the negativity. Okay, it is now. But before, I was very disappointed with the UK. There's a video that I have here I will be sharing with you where one of the squad said that if some of the things that the UK are doing and talking negative about Meghan on national television, if they did that in the US, they will lose their job. People will not stand for it. Despite what you're seeing going on, the noisemakers of the MAGAs and of the majority of Americans can't stand that. All right, so did I finish with it? All right. Unpopular hopes. Okay, so yes, I did. That's a GIF. Let's see here. They claim she's unpopular, but they feed the British press story after story about her every day. So unpopular, even her gym got several articles. Meanwhile, not a single story about the popular one. They are just writing anything at this point because it makes no sense. Oh, that was that. There's a video I put on PYTE. It's a short video. During the New Year's, Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper were reading good night something, and then near the end they said good night to Meghan Markle's gem. So when I saw that, I put it in a short clip for you guys. It's on PYTE. Next tweet. Voting. Okay, voting on royal Kate Middleton looks is the ultimate 2026 distraction. There's a close here. While we debate gold gown and sovereign grant just hit £132 million, a 53% hike funded by you. Fashion is the soft power mask for hard systemic costs. Yeah, this is just distraction. Meanwhile, in the background, they're robbing the people. Okay, point here, 1,000%, 1%. The toxic British media, the masters of distractions, while 69.3 million Brits are fleeced and bamboozled 24/7. Okay, I don't like when people are altering pictures. The reality, the Botox poster girl. I don't know if this is real. So there's all of that. Another royal flap. Yeah, I remember that. Look at the kids. What is this here? Candace Holmes, there's that. I voted on Royal Kate Middleton looks is the ultimate 2026 distraction. Well, okay, it's repeating the same thing. They're putting the pound sign on all of them, how much they cost. Okay, and we were told she didn't want to be known for her outfit, yet here we are, it's all she got. My coat cost £10 from the local charity shop. Then she says she wants to be remembered for things she does, not what she's wearing. Oh, did she? Okay. I didn't think she had a style look. Did we see that much of her last year? We can live without this costly shit. With enough money, they can fund their lavish lifestyle themselves. These dresses are not even her own choices, so ridiculous. Alright, let's leave that alone. Let's go to the next tweet. British media. Alright, let's pause this. Let's not put our tax money to entitle an abusive hierarchy which currently leaves us with a adulterous king and queen consort as head of state, and this king being one who has not got a loving parental bond on his body and happily campaigned for his youngest son to be unsafe just because he was compelled to step back from the firm when it targeted his wife. What about meritocracy? Alright, so she retweeted that, and the thing is that what people should have been talking about while Charles is the king, they should be talking about what he did with that queen consort next to him when Princess Diana was alive. We have all sort of distraction, but that people are not talking about the mistreatment of Princess Diana. So she retweeted that. All I want for next Christmas is a republic. Okay, I don't know if there will be a King George. I hope the lad gets away from the gilded prison sentence, to be perfectly honest. Alright, let's listen to this. Let me go into it so it could be larger.
I'm going to change the subject with Lorry Driver, who says, perhaps not pertinent for 2026.
Hang on, is his name really Lorry Driver?
Yes, it is. Lorry Driver. Why? You can't laugh at our listeners' names now. They're probably going, is he really called John Sopel? I don't think so.
Lorry Driver, H.
I don't know. I mean, maybe this is from somebody in our gallery. Who knows? Perhaps not pertinent to 2026. Will we ever see King William V, given everything going on around the royal family?
Yes.
With a bit of luck, hopefully not. All I want for next Christmas is a republic.
Oh, you're
Isn't that
so
much to
predictable.
ask? Oh, I'm predictable, right, okay.
No, I'm unpredictable because I'm saying that I think that the royal family, with him as king, would change quite substantially. It would still be the royal family, but I think a lot of the flummery would go. I think it would become more Scandinavian, more slimmed down as a monarchy. I mean, what it does with the kind of the Duchy of Lancaster and the Duchy of Cornwall and all that sort of stuff. I mean, those are...
When they went around on their Caribbean tour, they basically, it looked so colonial. They were being carried around by local people there. I'm not sure I buy the idea that they're terribly modern, those two, the Prince and Princess of Wales.
The question from Laurie is, given everything going on around the royal family, I guess he's talking about the sort of demise of Andrew and the titles and all the rest of it. And the only thing I'd say, Laurie, is I think what happened with Andrew in the last 2 months was precisely to enable the sort of regrowth of the royal family in a totally different direction. I think that's what was at the front of the king's mind. I want to do this so that my son doesn't have to deal with it when he comes to the throne. So I don't know if that works, but I think there probably will be a King William V, don't we think?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if there'll be a King George VII, as in Prince George, whenever, presumably William becomes king and is around for several decades.
And we're sort of thinking
hence.
lucky boy, aren't we?
I hope the lad gets away from that gilded prison sentence, to be perfectly honest, because I think it'd be absolutely appalling for him, like it's been for the rest of them.
Let me read some of this here. We heard the same, the royal must reform, BS after Diana's death. There's too many involved with the royal set up for them ever to noticeably reform. Wish people will seriously realize how pathetic the UK looks under when we still have this medieval throwback system. Alright, Ozempic could save it. Hi, Lois. They weren't carried around by local people on their tour of the Caribbean. Where did you get this idea? A Republic fever dream. I think he's talking. Let me go look for that image. But it's not. Let me look. All right. So that's me putting these two pictures here. I was like, perhaps this. Let's put. I don't know. Oops. All right. So there's that. Being carried around. So these are the pictures. Look at her clapping. All right. So that they are here carrying him around. All right. So that's that. Let me black it. All right. Let's go back. This is the squaddy who tweeted that. Be entitled an abusive hierarchy. Or are you talking about the people in the House of Commons? What a ridiculous post. All right. Let's go to the next tweet. Oh my God, the squad or something. Is that a squaddy? Oh, it follows me, I guess so. All right, the crypt keepers. The crypt keepers with their pathetic, self-righteous, self-absorbed, narcissistic, Brits egocentric mentality of the old Great Britain and their delirious myth of superiority complex driven think they can bully Meghan and her mom into non-existent. Instead, they are humiliated, fired. All right, so there's that. Tom Bauer teeth. Also, okay, you could read that. As much as I don't like them for what they doing to Meghan and stuff, I don't like to talk about this kind of things. Okay, and you can add bad breath. Oh my God. Bunch of gals. Okay, so there's that. I just wanted to show this. I didn't know they were going too much into the physical aspect. You know, they're all a baggage for God. Let me go to the next tweet. All right, so this is the one that's talking about if some of the things people are saying on TV in the UK or saying in the US, they will be fired. Okay, if anyone went on TV in the United States and said what the British media say about Meghan, they never work anywhere ever again. That tells you everything you need to know about the UK establishment lynching that woman has endured for almost 10 years. Okay, Jeremy Clarkson met with Camilla just days before his hateful Meghan Markle article. So let's listen to. Oh my God, it's 5 minutes. I didn't know it was that long. There will be screenshot in between, okay? And I do not know how old is this post. Okay, it says January 2nd. So it was posted in the middle of the night. So let's listen.
What the heck was he thinking by saying that? And how does he still have his job? Or am I
jobs? No.
Jobs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it shows the power that certain people have, and also the consumerism of degrading women, and also the violence against women. Because Camilla, the Queen Consort or whatever, just had lunch with this person, and there seems to be a sign-off by these words being published in the Sun that this is okay. And I believe Camilla has an initiative about protecting women or the endangerment of women, and this seems like something volatile enough to constitute the endangerment of a woman who, BT dubs, what has Meghan Markle done?
I know.
Like, honestly, what has she done other than exist and marry a man that you don't feel that she's deserving of? Because at the root of all of this, that's what it's giving.
I think we all know what Prince Andrew's done.
Right.
I wonder if there's an article about him.
Right.
I'm very curious.
I also have to say, like what Erica said, when you hate someone on us, I get that he's a provocateur. I know who he is. People are like, oh, he says stuff like this all the time.
But he doesn't write op-eds.
Right, and when he says this about someone who already has that much vitriol, when you hate someone on a cellular level, even if you're joking, again, where was there the fight between these two people? What did she ever do? So what Erica is saying really truly is and you said it before, they're proving her point. She does nothing, and they eat her alive, throwing excrement at her as she
didn't
walks.
read that part.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
But it's important. It's so dirty and vile and violent. And you can say I'm overreacting, but I think it's reckless for someone who is a target like that.
I have the same visceral reaction as you two.
I think we can lose sight of like who, obviously all the vitriol is directed towards this person, as it should be, but don't forget he did this because he had permission.
That's right.
You don't write an article about this. You don't write anything about
It's in the Sun.
royalty without permission. You don't do this. This is the boss letting you know that you can.
Jeremy did apologise about it when he, you know, he said he was.
So that first clip was during Jeremy Clarkson, who wrote that op-ed. As they're talking, when I'm editing, I'll put a screenshot of what he wrote. I have that portion where he spoke about Meghan. All right, so let's continue. So pretty much, I guess this squaddy put these clips together. All right.
An error of writing such a piece about that, but I think it's quite. This is the first time Ipso's ever, you know, held up a sexism complaint. But I think as a journalist, and if you have a column now, it's quite interesting because then you think to yourself, it's opened a can of worms, and potentially in the future, different columnists, if they're writing about Meghan now, they do have to be a bit careful.
Yeah, it's a funny one. I thought what he said was very distasteful.
Yeah,
actually.
it was nasty, but
It was
it was
nasty.
Jeremy Clarkson.
But it wasn't. I don't think it was sexist.
I think Jeremy Clarkson has made a lot of sexist comments over the years. But I think what was interesting about this story, he was actually with the Camilla the day before he wrote this column. So that's why it didn't really look good on the Queen after this column came out, because he was...
Anybody who think Camilla is look good on anything else, I'm not talking about physical appearance. I'm just talking in terms of character, ethic. All right, with what she did to Princess Diana till this day, I don't know how anybody in the UK will have any respect for this woman. Okay, so these people are talking as if Jeremy Clarkson, oh, it's okay, this is the way that he is. He's been talking like that about women, as if it is permission for him to continue writing this BS. This is the sense that I'm getting from these people in the UK. You could feel or hear the difference between the previous clip, the people in the US, and these people in the UK. They make it seem like it was okay for him to do it because that's his habit. That's his way of writing things. But nobody stopped him. All right, let's continue.
It's just rubbing shoulders with her. So I don't know what kind of conversation he was having with the Queen about Meghan, but hey, my mum.
There was a big fallout when Meghan Markle and Prince Harry left the UK. Lots of discussion, Reverend Sharpton, about racism within the media, the accusations that they made towards the coverage that she had faced as part of the royal family. And then you were very outspoken and critical of Jeremy Clarkson's column that he put in again in another national newspaper. He's since apologised to them profusely and tried to explain his scenario. I wonder what your take on that situation was, what Harry and Meghan Markle said that they were facing, and the reaction of the UK media to that relationship.
You know, I think that when they were married, it was a beautiful day, and people were celebrating how you saw this woman of color now in the royal family, gospel songs sung at the ceremony, the Queen sitting there. And then the reaction was so much acrimony and just looking to treat her differently. And people, whether you're in the UK or around the world, that was always treated differently, understood what Meghan was going through. It was somebody black working in the C-suites for the first time, and they treat you differently. Or someone walking down the street. And I think she became a symbol not of her own making. When you see the kind of mean-spirited article this guy wrote for no reason, drag her through the streets and all, yeah, fine, you can apologize, and many of us have said things not at that level that we could apologize for, but what makes you feel that you can say that in the first place? Right. And
let's not forget, Jeremy Clarkson made an apology, not to Meghan, to Harry. This is even worse. Okay, this guy has that mentality of a peanut, not even a peanut, of old kind of mentality, apologize to Harry, but not Meghan. And he wrote the thing about Meghan.
I think that in many ways they exposed what was already there. And then people tried to blame Meghan for they are being exposed.
Yeah, they can't help themselves. There's the meeting that this woman. All right, let's read some of the comments. Oh, that's it.
What?
Let me pause it. All right. As a foreigner, I can understand why they actively seek to scrutinize Meghan but don't give a drop of the same treatment for Andrew. It's like their world is reversed. And they did not notice it. They know exactly what they're doing. This tactic have worked so well for them. That's the thing. It has worked so well for them. The problem is social media. The people in the UK, I think, okay? I'm not speaking for anybody in the UK. It's just my perception from the outside looking in. It seems like the UK have been not normalized. They've been immune. That's the word. They've been immune to this type of headlines where many of them, they sit, they just mind their own business and move along. Okay? And that give the papers like the green light to continue the same tactic. However, with social media, the moment those headlines hit the papers or on social media, people outside of the UK start pushing back. Okay? For me, the reason why it took me a while is I don't have any reason. I do not know what reason why the first few headlines that I read about Meghan then hit me right away. I do not know. Maybe it what's that equivalent of newspaper sometime when you on the checking out aisle at the supermarket. It was in the news at some, what's the name of it? National Enquirer. That particular paper that most people will just read it when at the checking aisle and then they leave it alone, they never buy it. People already know they're lying and things like that. I don't know if that play a role on it. I do not know. But for me, the first few headlines coming out of the UK, I did not pay too much attention. But it was the consistency that got me. Okay? So the UK was immune to it. What probably snapped the daylight out of some of the Brits is because the pushback that were coming outside of the UK, especially from the US, the people, the squaddies who were following Meghan from different venues, whether it's Suit or TIG or IG, you name it, or X or Twitter at that time, who were doing the pushback, who knew Meghan, and probably snapped the living hell out of some of the Brits to say, wait a second, what happened? Okay, but the UK was immune to it, which gave rise to the tabloid to continue. And then you have Harry. For many times, they were doing that to Harry. Okay, putting negative headlines about Harry nonstop. And Harry, what Harry used to do, which never been mentioned on mainstream media, is Harry used to do his own pushback secretly or privately. I don't know if you call it secretly or privately, whichever you may see it, is going to Ipso, telling Ipso to stop doing some of the things that they were writing about him. And Harry did not have the backing of his family to support him. It was only Harry. So Ipso used to just ignore Harry because they saw the weakness of Harry. He wasn't going to be the king. He didn't have the backing of his father and stuff like that. So they continue, they make it a habit. But that started way before. You could go from Princess Diana, the campaign. Princess Diana was all by herself.
Do you really believe that a campaign was being waged against you?
Yes, I did, absolutely. Yeah.
Why?
I was a separated wife of the Prince of Wales. I was a problem, full stop. Never happened before. What do we do with her?
Can't we pack her off to somewhere quietly rather than campaign against her?
She won't go quietly. That's the problem. I'll fight till the end.
Okay? She was doing her own thing in her own way to do the pushback. She didn't have the backing of the institution as well. If any, the royal family was probably one of those. I said probably for my own legal reason, but majority of us already know. But it could have easily be, allegedly, the royal family was behind the headlines that were being put.
I mean, all I can say is that, there is no truth in so much of this speculation. And Mrs. Barker-Bowles is a great friend of mine. I have a large number of friends. I'm terribly lucky to have so many friends who I think are wonderful and make the whole difference to my life, which would become intolerable otherwise.
Okay, if you go further than that, there's this video.
When racism as such, as a philosophy, kicked in, was as a direct reaction to the abolitionist movement. The abolitionist movement driven by some of the leading intellectuals of the day, as well as driven by hundreds of thousands of ordinary people in this kingdom who signed petitions after petitions and presented them to the House of Lords. When the abolition movement really kicked in from the 1780s onwards, the planters had to respond. And so this is where you get the most virulent imagery about brutal, pagan, bestial black people in the literature and in the imagery.
Cartoons portraying black people as licentious and depraved began to circulate. The anti-abolitionist Edward Long wrote,
"The lower class women in England are remarkably fond of the blacks. In the course of a few generations more, the English blood will become so contaminated with this mixture as even to reach the middle and then the higher orders of the people. This is a venomous and dangerous ulcer that threatens to disperse its malignancy far and wide until every family catches infection from it."
So the UK have been normalizing this type of treatment of the citizen to be immune to those headlines. But when it hit worldwide, people were like, wait a second, stop it. Where does this come from? Meghan hasn't done anything. Why they talk? Okay, this kind of thing. All right, let's see here. Agree 100%. It confirmed to you who control their media. Prince William, the British heir apparent. There's the clap here. Well said, well said. All right, Meghan Kelly will say it, one of the few truth tellers. What was it? There's a video that I have where they were trying to introduce or ease the American people into that lady who's from CNN who said the thing about Harry and Meghan, or is it Meghan with William and Kate, where that royal vet says, oh, yes, it will be a problem. I have this video.
Do you see any scenario by which Harry and Meghan overshadow Kate and
Oh,
William?
yes, I do. I mean, this is immediately was my first thought. You know, this could be a problem.
So that was a way to ease people into this crazy headlines that they usually do. Okay, but people push back. Okay, next tweet, and I think these that I have to do with US politics. There's a possibility I might do another video for that. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue recording. All right, so there's this here.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together. And if I may speak personally, we are all in this together. Because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.